Hi, everybody. I'm Scott with GenSwiss, Technical Supervisor here.
And I'm Stefan Marsh with Syracuse Supply and APT, and Scott was nice enough to invite me over to GenSwiss today to talk about some tooling for our Star machine tools that we sell.
Great to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Syracuse Supply and the rest of the business?
Certainly. Syracuse Supply is my distributorship in upstate New York. I am the president of the Industrial Supply Division. We also have another division down in Florida called APT. We look forward to our mutual relationship with GenSwiss and always had. And when you gave me the opportunity to come and talk to you about what we had for both our upstate New York and our Florida divisions, I welcome the opportunity and look forward to seeing what we have in store for us today about the SX38 Star.
My thoughts were that's one of the leading cutting-edge machines available right now from Star Micronics, Star CNC. Mm-hmm. And one of the great things about it is it's a very versatile machine. It's got kind of a combination of all the best features of some of the models that have come before it, like the very versatile SR series. It's probably arguably one of the best sellers. Would you agree?
I would agree. It is one of our best sellers.
So like it's got a lot of the features that the SR has, the ST, of course, and the SV that have turrets, the versatility of a turret. Anybody running a Swiss machine that has a turret understands how much capability that adds. And lastly, the other thing that I'm really intrigued by on that machine is the fact that it has a B-axis on the guide bushing side, which at that point there you've got 4 front and 4 back facing live tools that
Gives
you can
a lot of versatility.
The machine's capable of doing stuff that, if you looked at a finished workpiece, you might even argue, is this a lathe part?
Absolutely.
Because it looks like it came off of a mill. It's so milling centric. You're able to do all that with this piece of equipment. And then lastly, the other part that really interests me is that back working tool post. If you can see on the screen right now, we've got the internals of the machine on display there, and you can see there's 2 rows of tools, and so you've got a Y2 axis back there, which I've been doing this for a long time, and back 25 years ago, a Y2 was a rare thing, or maybe didn't even exist. Mm-hmm. So now being able to do all this extra work on the back side of the machine just adds so much more capability. And us at GenSwiss, we've been developing products that are meant to take advantage of all these new axes here. So another reason why I chose the Star SX38 as the one that I really wanted to highlight is the fact that it's a bigger Swiss machine.
38 millimeter capability.
So going up to recent years, GenSwiss's Utilis products, all our main turning line, were only capable of handling up to 32 millimeter. Mm-hmm. So we've recently, based on largely by the SR38 and the SX38, we've come out with a cutoff system that is designed to go up to 40 millimeter. Because as the machine started to evolve and get bigger capability, we needed a way of parting off tools, and that was something that we never really had the capability of. So we've recently added this product to the lineup, which we're calling our Cut 5000 series. But at first glance, you might look at this thing and go, yeah, it's kind of a general cutoff tool. But those with a keen eye might notice that we've got coolant jets down inside the flank there. So this goes into the cut alongside the carbide and gives you the ability to keep the carbide cool when it's down inside of that groove that it's generating as it's parting off the workpiece. And what we found by doing that is it really raises the tool life up tremendously.
Is that rated for like 2,000 PSI or 1,000 PSI?
This was engineered specifically to use the highest pressure you could throw at it, which is around 2,000 PSI currently.
Great way to break that chip.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And it does a great job of actually cooling the carbide. What we found is during a cutoff operation, and I think it's pretty common knowledge, is that when you reach the center line of the workpiece, that's where you get a heat spike. That's the surface footage falls off. It's doing more rubbing than cutting. That's when you have to protect the edge. And the IC plus holders that we're introducing give you that ability here. It's getting the jet into the cut alongside of it, and it's shielding the coating and it's shielding the carbide substrate from taking that heat, which in turn gives you a whole lot more tool life. Some of the other advancements to this is it's reversible, so the screw that does the clamping, you can actually flip it around. So
Great versatility.
You've got the ability to flip that screw around and do the clamping from the backside. So now you can leave your shank installed into your tool plate and change out your carbide. And the other thing that is not really visible, the way that clamp works is we've actually got an angular cut with a radius on it, the way that the clamps come down on each other, and it's designed to actually absorb the tool pressure during the cutoff. So instead of it just being a square rectangular cut, it's got an angle to it that actually helps absorb tool pressure. So again, you get more rigidity out of it. So we've taken a tried and true design for cutoff tools and given it the GenSwiss Utilis Multidec spin to make it so that it's like, yo, we're not a me too here. This is actually taking something that exists and just improving upon it.
Maximizing its ability.
Maximizing
Absolutely.
the ability. This is one that I really wanted to highlight today because we're talking about the SX38. This is a new product that we just introduced specifically for that machine. This would directly replace the existing gang slide that's on the machine. And as you can see, there's built-in stops up here. So now you've got quick change capability where you can adjust this, but use any regular square shank tool in any of these pockets and position it up against the stops. So the benefit there is you've got the ability to easily train new users when they're going to be running their brand new SX38 that just hit the floor, and they can quickly change things out. But you're still getting the full clamping force of the clamping wedge because you're not doing a broken split shank with a head design. You're using standard, inexpensive square shank tooling, but getting quick change capability out of it. And when I say quick change, you're not looking at repeating within a few tenths. It's going to be probably plus or minus a thou or two.
Okay.
But it's going to get you close enough so that you're within a quick offset and you're off and running again. Instead of, you don't have to do any touch offs. You're going to be close enough so that you don't have to do that. And that saves some significant amount of time. The other aspect of this, which I think is really important, and it's actually the main objective of this tool or this tool plate, is the fact that we're talking about high pressure coolant and how they're always being delivered with high pressure pumps. So you know how much trouble it is getting that oil to the cut.
Absolutely.
With the plumbing.
Yep.
This eliminates that. So on this block, we've got feed lines up here for your high pressure feeds, delivers through the plate. And then on the bottoms of the wedges, we've got coolant jets here.
Great design.
That's all integrated, all as one. So the other thing that I talk to a lot of customers about is how much time do you spend setting up your oil? And they're like, oh, sometimes more than I did setting up my cutting tools, depending on the job. Be like, well, how would you like to just nearly eliminate that and just leave it permanently in the machine? They always agree. So yeah, you can see on the screen right now, standard square shank tooling. And the other thing that I always like to point out is this will work with any square shank tool. You don't have to use Utilis Multidec. I would prefer it.
Obviously, I would hope you would.
I would love if you completely deck out a machine with Utilis Multidec, but I understand that we can't be everything to everybody. I've got a customer that uses some very unique custom tools that they've invested significant stock in, and they could use that with this because it just goes into a standard square shank tool, but it's a custom form that they've engineered, and this works. A lot of the other stuff that's out there on the market for this kind of a product requires you to use one catalog of carbide, and now you're kind of stuck. And we were looking at that SX38 before and how versatile that is. Could you imagine pigeonholing yourself in to one brand of carbide? It's really gonna lock that machine down from what it is actually truly capable of doing. And I feel like this actually gives it
the versatility to accept anybody's, carbide if that really deems necessary and what you're currently using.
Exactly. Yep. So the flexibility there is incredible.
It's phenomenal tool.
Saves so much time. The thing that we always joke about here at GenSwiss is all the tools that we offer, the goal is to try to keep that door closed longer on the machine, because if that door is open, you're not making money. You're not making parts.
Time is money, my friend.
It is, absolutely. So those are the goals with that. Moving along, so going back, we were looking at the back working side of that machine and how versatile it was. One of my favorite products that we offer in the Multidec line is the Utilis back tool system. And what I've got here for that, this is the exact unit that would go on the SX38. And this is using my favorite module. It uses the Cut 3000, which can take just about any geometry in that pocket. So this is kind of your wild card back turning module here. You could do anything with this. You could thread, you could groove, you could turn, you could face, you could profile. It doesn't matter. You just change the geometry that you want to use with it. And I just happen to have one of our best selling 3004 SPs here to demonstrate it. But this back module is what actually physically fits that position on that machine. This is your
SX38.
This is the SX38 base unit. And this front piece is swappable. So it's a very snug fit. I don't know if I could get it apart here or not. We'll see.
Precision tooling. It's nice and tight.
That's what I'm saying. So here we go. We'll do it the easy way. We'll
We'll
use the graphics. You could swap the end for anything, for what you're trying to do. So we've got holders that hold DCGTs, VCGTs, CCGTs, the Multidec Cut series, and the 3000, which is the one I have on the table now, the Cut 1600, which is the little smaller tools that we offer. There's nothing you can't do in terms of turning on the subspindle with this system. And there's actually some adaptable ID holders as well that can bolt onto the end of it. Graphic up there now is just kind of showing all the individual components that you can do. And this is an a la carte system. So you don't even necessarily need everything that's there because we've got the base shank, the spacer, the module. You don't necessarily have to use a spacer. It's going to be driven by what are you trying to do on the subspindle side of the machine. We've got adaptable coolant modules that bolt on. We actually have some also that bolt on and feed through across the insert in a more precision aimed coolant direction. And then we were pointing out before, the SX38 is very capable having a Y2 axis. So that adjustment bolt is not necessarily in this case. We don't need to adjust these for center because we can do it from the control.
The backworking tools have been one of our go-tos for a lot of our star customers, just due to the fact of the versatility of the interchangeability of going from threading to turning to, whatever you may be doing on that subspindle. So it's been absolutely fantastic.
Cool. We appreciate that, definitely. I always like if I walk into a customer and I see that they're using a like a boring bar, like an ID boring bar for OD turning. It's like, whoa, guys, that's like the old-fashioned way of doing it. You really want to be getting into this. This is going to be the solution. And I did manage to finally pull it apart, by the way.
See
but
that.
it is a very nice. But here's your base unit. You've got precision fit pins and then the back of the insert modules. So they simply click together and give you the ability to swap out the modules for whatever you want. So we have spacers that go between here. We have a coolant delivery plate and coolant delivery modules that can go on the end. There's somewhere in the realm of 100 different modules that you can get to bolt onto this base unit to solve whatever kind of back turning problem that you might have. And this just dovetails so nicely with the amount of axes you have on the subspindle side of that machine already.
Absolutely. Now, what is the repeatability of that swapping between the different plates?
The different plates, repeatability, it's probably going to be less than 1,000.
Okay.
Something you're going to have to check if you were going to hot swap a plate. Usually once you're set up in this case, you're just leaving it alone. So between setups, that kind of thing. But they are very accurate. I mean, you can see here, this is all precision ground,
Absolutely.
datum surface, so it's ready to go.
And we've seen how tight it was.
Yes, it fits perfectly together. There's definitely no daylight between those components.
Absolutely
When
not.
you have them stacked. Moving right along to another one of my favorite products, and I'm just going to say they're all my favorite products because that's
Imagine that.
that's how it is.
You do have some great products that you have to offer for the Star machines.
I've had some fun success stories with just about everything that's on this table, and the SX38 we were mentioning before has a B axis.
Yep.
And the B axis is a very versatile aspect to have in the machine. A thing that's kind of a game changer when working on the B axis is the GenSwiss tie lock product. We've got so many users that are taking the tie lock integrated taper units, which this is like an ER16, so this is just plugged right into your tool, uses the standard nut that's on the B axis live position and clicks on, and this just holds your micro tools nice and snug and firmly where you don't have to have them extending out because you can only get so close. That's the irony of Swiss machines. Your live tools are positioned accordingly, but you can only get them so close because of the guide bushing housing, and you're working with tiny tools. So now you've got to have a way of making sure that tool doesn't flex, doesn't deflect, doesn't break, and still hold it at a point where you're looking at a couple tenths tolerance, and that's where this guy comes in. So this is a perfect fit for B axis. I've got so many people running these. And then on the back side of the machine too, you might have to have some reach to get around your subspindle collet, get your tools up nice and close to that. This works really good on the back side in a rotary position. So this is a kind of a end-all be-all for holding like 3mm and 1/8" shank, 40 thou diameter cutting tools.
Yeah, those micro tools, you need that precision. So.
Yep, exactly. So this was kind of a game changer that we introduced somewhere around 12 years ago or so. And this has been a GenSwiss signature line item for a very long time. And then as the B axes started to become more and more prevalent, it's like this is just the perfect way of holding a tiny tool on the B axis.
It's almost a go-to nowadays.
It is. Yeah, we've got some shops that don't even really use an ER collet for anything under an 1/8" shank. They're using this, so always something to consider. And moving along, again, I'm going to keep talking about the backside of star machines because in the early days of the company when I was here, the thing that I always didn't understand about them was the fact that they always had proprietary bolt patterns, right? The backside has a round position and then a bolt pattern. You got an adapter that goes on there. So one of my favorite products... Again, was the Rotary Broaching line. So when I first came on board here at GenSwiss, the Rotary Broaching line was one of my original responsibilities. And when somebody had a star machine and they wanted to broach on the backside, they would have to have some kind of an adapter to hold the round shank here. So as a result of that, and this one's not for I didn't have one on hand for the SX38. This is an SR20.
It's a great machine as well.
But this is one of the more popular ones and the ones that we do a lot of rotary broaching on the sub-spindle side. So working with our partners in Switzerland, we came out with an adapter to hold the rotary broaching tool with the bolt pattern that's designed to work on the sub-spindle side of the SR20, the SR32, and I think this fits the SBs as well. It's a pretty versatile product, and we do move quite a few of these things. But the other added advantages, and you can see right here how low profile it is, you could put this adjacent to all the other tools that are on the backside and not lose a station. That's one of the things that we've always tried to highlight with this. This tool has been copied by all of our competitors, but the thing that they seem to fail at copying is the size. I don't really know of too many options that are out there that are as robust of a design as this bearing housing is, but at the same time only being 28 millimeters in OD. So in 28 millimeters, the reason that this is 28 millimeters in the first place is because all the measurements we took when we were originally designing these, the star machines had some of the tightest fitment, and it had to fit that because there's just so many of them out there. We had to solve that. So
I remember talking to you about this in the early days about when you first were starting to develop and even introduced it to me, that many years ago. And man, Scott, it's a fantastic tool. I just don't know where 20 years went. It doesn't seem like we knew each other that long.
The time is just flying.
It really is, in a good way, because technology just keeps advancing, and we have great designs like the broaching unit here. So,
and it keeps guys like us busy.
Absolutely, and it keeps us on our game.
So there's not too much that you can't do in terms of broaching with this adapter on the machines here. It's you got the smallest types of sockets you might want to generate, like 30 thou or so is usually the bottom end, up to about 3/8 using this product right here, which encompasses a lot of what you're going to do in a Swiss.
Absolutely.
So this has been a really good fit, and again, we do have a module that goes on the SX38 for the backside here, but unfortunately, I didn't have one on hand to to show, but we got
stock a lot, but you can't stock it all.
Can't stock it all, and the SX is such a new machine too, so we don't quite have everything ready. But the SR is such a popular one, so
we have a lot of SRs out in the field. They're just a go-to. They've been a very, very reliable machine for many years for a lot of our end users.
I still encounter some of the older ones from like 20 years ago. They're still out there banging out good parts.
Still holding repeatability within tenths.
Yeah.
So just stands by how great stars are and the reliability of the star machine.
Love it.
So
Love it.
Putting in great GenSwiss tools is just an extra caveat.
That's the other thing I kind of like take a little bit of a pride in is like it's cool to equip a brand new machine like an SX, but when you find a user who's maybe never done Swiss machining before and they call me up and they go, I just brought a 2005 SR20 onto my floor and I have no idea what to do. I get all excited because it's like, okay, I have so many things that can bring that into the current year, the current capabilities, and you're going to be like, up and running and doing some amazing things with this machine in no time using some of the stuff that we offer. So it keeps older equipment effective longer in many cases too. So we can, right out the door, we can do something awesome like this, or we could take something that's old and still very reliable, very versatile, and increase the performance of that as well. So
that's what keeps us going. That's what we love what we do.
That's it. That's just it. Two other things I wanted to get to real quick. One of the founding products that we had here at GenSwiss is speeder adapters, or speeder high-speed tools for the Swiss machines. So we're talking about the tie lock before holding micro tools. Well, micro tools need surface footage, and a lot of times the live tooling on the machines max out around 8,000 RPM or so, something like that. So one of the core products that we introduced many years ago, and we just keep advancing it with new technology as it comes out, is our plug-and-play high-speed units. So what we got on the screen right now is one of the more versatile units that fits a wide array of star machines that are out there. This plugs into just about any one of those machines you can see listed there. We got from the SB all the way up to the SW20, SV38. That gives you roughly 40,000 RPM right out of the box. Just plug and play. You don't have to have a technician come and install it. Simply remove one of the standard holders and put this guy in there. And then remember, that position is going to be faster when you program for it.
Exactly what those micro tools need to run effectively and efficiently.
Precisely. So that's something that we've been doing a lot over the years. And yeah, the unit that's on the screen right now, that's one of the best selling ones that we've got for the Star machines. You can see why it fits so many machines. That's the thing I always appreciated about the Star Micronic machines is the cross compatibility of the tooling.
Absolutely.
A lot of it, you can invest in a live tool and swap it around the shop floor depending on where the job's going that needs it, because you're not stuck in that one machine. So
plus, going from a 12 millimeter machine like the SB12 all the way up to the SV32, I mean, that versatility is just unmatched. As you know, whether you're doing small diameter work or large diameter work, you need those RPMs in order to produce a good quality part.
Yep. And real quick, you can see I've got an example of a tool on the table right here, just kind of showing some of the build quality, what goes into a lot of the live tools that come from PCM. One thing I always like to highlight, and it's tough to tell even though it is clear, these are hybrid bearings. We use ceramic hybrids now instead of standard traditional steel bearings. Reason for that being, we're working with micro tools, and thermal expansion is an issue. So the ceramic bearings are more thermally stable. They also give you a longer service life on the live tool itself, and they also gave us the ability to offer tools that are maintenance free. So one thing that we found over the years with a lot of experience with live tools is the end user operators don't necessarily either adhere to the correct maintenance schedule for the live tools, or they might do something like use the wrong grease or use too much of it, all of which shortens the tool life of the attachment. So we found by going to the ceramic tools and making it so that the maintenance is no longer in the hands of the end user, that they're getting much longer tool life out of their attachments. And when the time does come, we're a full service stop. We do all the repairs on any of the PCM live tools here in-house. I actually showed you the department a little while ago.
You really did, and it's very, very impressive and reminds me of our company, being a one-stop shop. Everything from machine tools to industrial supplies to service to parts and applications. So, that's why our partnership, I think, has been growing over the years that we've known each other. We're all implementing the same ideas.
We're both go-tos for our customers. They know that if they call Stefan or if they call Scott, they're going to get a solution.
Absolutely. That's what we kind of made our career on. Is, providing solutions for difficult applications.
Yep. We care about making sure that the end user is successful and that they're off and running with the solution that we provide to them. That's our goal. I don't want to sell something to somebody that they don't need, or they find that down the road it ended up becoming a money pit. That's not my goal in the least. And so when we brought on the new guy here that's been working with me for a few months now, he was really relieved to find that it's a problem-solving type of environment.
Absolutely.
And not a sales environment. We're here to do business, but we're not here to force it. We want to make sure that we're taking care of our customers.
You're there to provide solutions. You know what I mean? So you've always done that extremely well, and you always provide the newest and latest and greatest technology. So it's been exciting, and love to see what's next. I know we also briefly discussed just a little while ago, walking through your shop, the new thread whirling capabilities that you currently have with the Coolant-Thru capabilities, and something I'd never even heard of. So
yep.
I'm excited to take a look.
That's what we're bringing up, and that's what's right in front of you right there.
Been looking at it the whole time.
So this is a new offering from our manufacturing partner, PCM. We're talking about, they did all the spindles and the attachments and things. Thread whirling attachments is also one of their specialties, and they're very, very good at innovating and growing the technology over the years. And so what we got going on the screen right now is just kind of showing the traditional way of threading versus what you're going to get the advantage of for doing thread whirling. So over time, when you're doing a single point, you're losing rigidity. You got to pull through that back to the guide bushing, and it's a whole lot slower than actually doing it with the whirling. So we can bring the whirling attachment in here and just generate threads from bar stock to a finished thread in one pass. That's the goal of it. But naturally, that generates a lot of chip. And that's where the Coolant-Thru part of it really kind of comes into play, because we've got a lot of inserts in the cut on our systems, and the Coolant-Thru really gives it the ability to run fast and reliable without getting chip that's going to be recut. Yeah, that was one of the things that we were encountering over the years, was if your coolant wasn't perfect, and everything else we were talking about here was coolant related and trying to improve that efficiency, it just made sense to add it into the thread whirling.
Absolutely. I know a lot of my medical customers, really rave about the thread whirling process in itself. So to now add Coolant-Thru, it's just going to be game changing.
Yep.
It'll be next level.
And the other cool thing about it is, like, I don't think we're the first to introduce Coolant-Thru thread whirling, but one of the things that we've done is we've taken the mistakes that we've seen elsewhere and we've plumbed it all externally on the live tool. So you're keeping your bearings safe from any of the oil. The oil's delivered externally, but still through the ring. So the bearings that are inside the live tool itself are all completely shielded.
But your oil's at the point of cut.
But you're always at the point of cut, exactly.
Fantastic.
So what we got going on the screen right now is, and the thing I'd like to bring up too is all the PCM heads are retrofittable to include this. So we could put an external jet system on there, or we can remove the standard ring and we can put a Coolant-Thru ring on there instead that delivers it both through the ring as well as through the back of the tool holder. So what we got demonstrating now is also part of it is our quick change unit. You can see there's like a bayonet system that drops and clicks into the receiver on the live tool, and gives the user the ability, when they have to index the tools, to leave the lead angle set on the live tool and remove the ring from the machine and index the tools around. So
What a great design.
you can see here too, we got the internal channels kind of angled. And that actually uses some of the centripetal force to actually boost, almost like an oil pump in a car, to like boost the pressure as the oil is coming out. So instead of it just being perpendicular, it's actually angled. It does such a great job of getting that granular chip out. That's because it's a milling cut when you're doing your thread whirling jobs, and it does a really good job of just making sure that you're not recutting. Because 9 times out of 10, you're making a medical part. And I jokingly refer to it as body jewelry. It needs to be
pristine.
It needs to be pristine. So you can't have witness marks from chips. The coolant just improves the tool life significantly, and also just make sure that chip's constantly evacuated.
That's great.
So I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to go over. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, this has been absolutely super informative. I appreciate you having me and talking to me. A little different being on camera, but it's nice. It's kind of like a bar stool conversation, so I definitely appreciate it.
That's all we're going to do.
Yeah,
so,
this has been great.
Appreciate you making the ride out.
No, I appreciate you having me.